My friend Jeannie asked me what kind of guy I'm most attracted to, the mysterious kind or the friendly kind? Both. You know, I never ask myself if I'm going to fall in love again. As I've gotten older, I ask more, what is love? What is falling in love?
One thing they will promise, they're building you a throne. If only you had seen, they won't leave the truth alone. And now you can see the world, but you're blinded by the light, leading you from reason and straight into the night. Now don't believe him, he's a liar and a sugar coater. Just wait until break of dawn. Say what you have to say, but don't forget to leave the motor on. He'll turn around, but you will be gone.
Hey everybody, I'm so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I hope you had a great week. I had such a busy week this week, and well, it's so fantastic to be here right now, just to be mellow with you guys. And you know, I gotta say, you know, I think that there comes a time in every creator's time on YouTube where, you know, they love doing their videos, but you know, you just kind of hit a wall and you say to yourself, you know, before I do one more video on skincare or makeup or decorating, I got to do a life update. And that's how I feel today. You know, I'll link it below, but I did a video in March that was for my 4-year anniversary on YouTube, and I answered your questions, and that's one of my very favorite videos of this year. And you know, you all seemed to like it, and you did ask me over and over for a part 2 because you know I couldn't get to your questions, so I'm going to really try to do that today. And the first thing I wanted to sort of clear up is a misunderstanding from last week's video. I was in the hospital with food poisoning. I had aspirated when I was getting sick, so it affected my oxygen and my lungs, and so one thing led to another, and I was in tough shape in the hospital. I came out of the hospital with a low-grade temperature and didn't feel comfortable enough to be around my family. The reason that I could be around Bob's family and not my family is because in my family there's a little one that I love very much who has a compromised immune system right now. And I don't feel, you know, very comfortable in talking about it. So that's probably why I omitted it last week, but it certainly did sound like I had such disregard for someone else's family. But no one in Bob's family has a compromised immune system. The second thing that I wanted you to know is that the movie cinema series of, you know, watching a movie that we watched years ago and then rewatching it with more mature eyes and then discussing it, that turned out to be a big hit. So I am really excited to continue that series, and I'm so happy that you like it so much. And the top movies that you suggested were Giant, Imitation of Life, Splendor in the Grass, and now Voyager. And I love all those movies with the exception of Imitation of Life. I've never seen that movie. So yeah, and I also did find it very interesting that we ladies chose movies that were quite romantic, but also had kind of a mother-daughter tension to them. And I think that's going to be really fun to explore in the future, why perhaps we kind of gravitate towards that, but I cannot wait. I can't believe what that serum is doing. Like, it took 5 years off me. had so much fun in last week's video telling you my favorite drugstore skincare products that I just love. And I did hear from a lot of you saying, okay, that's fine. Those are at the drugstore. What are you ordering that you can't get at the drugstore? You know, name a few. So there's not that many, so I thought I would name all of them. The first one is I do use the ordinary 30% AHA peel. That's where the one where it looks like you're putting blood on your face. I love that. I do use that. And I also use a pumpkin mask by Andalou. And I don't mention my pumpkin mask very much because it's a very intense mask and it's very uncomfortable. So you really gotta want it if you're gonna use this mask. You know, one of my favorites is the Brilliantly Brightening Serum by Acure, and this is pretty new. I've been using this for a couple months, but this is the most beautiful combination of many different oils. And I do love this. I love this for my neck and my décolleté. I love this for my arms, for my hair, for my face, you name it. I like it. I like it on my potatoes. No, I don't. I just made that up. The other thing that I have to order off of Amazon is my beloved carrot oil, my carrot seed oil. This is a carrier oil. It is cold pressed. You do not have to dilute it or mix it with any other ingredient. It is absolutely beautiful just the way it is out of the bottle. The question I get every week is, have I found any additional information on my father, William Moore? What he was doing down south, why he died at 61 years old, and do I have a picture of him yet? And the answer is yes, I do have a little bit more information about my father's life down south, but not too much. But I do have a wonderful cousin that is writing me, and she's trying so hard to help me get a picture of him and fill in the blanks. And she's helping me fill in the blanks of my grandmother who died when she was only 28 years old, and we're trying to figure out what happened to her. My grandfather, my father's father, remarried in just a few short weeks after she died. Anyway, I have written the army for my father's portrait, and he has 2 different portraits. They did verify that, but so far I don't have his army records or his pictures. So whenever I call, they just tell me to be patient, that it takes a while. But I promise you, the day that I get a picture of my father, I will probably within 15 minutes I'll turn on the camera, I'll be jumping up and down, and I'll be showing you the picture, and yeah, the video will be, I'll probably go live. I've never gone live, but I probably would go live. I had this beautiful necklace made for me. It honors the moon on February 5th, 2019. That was the day I found out who my real father was. Hands down, the second most popular question I get is, when are you moving? You said you were moving a couple months ago. When are you moving? I want to see you decorate your new place. I am on a waiting list for my apartment. It is a beautiful apartment, and I was told when I got on the waiting list that it would be 6 months. I called a month ago, and she said, well, 6 months is turning more into maybe 8 months to a year. It's time to go. It's time to move on. And I'm very willing. I love it here. I can wait until next year to move, but I would prefer to move this year before the snow flies. So I will keep you up to date. Every single week I'm looking at apartments, and I'm starting to think that maybe I should take you with me. Marla Reed here, she asked me a question, and I hope I can do it justice, but she wanted to know why I was so attached to my 2 ex-husbands, Eddie and Billy. And I don't think that's a mean question. I think that's a fair question. You know, I was an only child, and I was a very reclusive child, and you know, I grew into a woman that was quite confident, but you know, I was an introvert. I perhaps had some trust issues and just issues in general with men, you know, not growing up with a father, so I didn't let a lot of people in. There just weren't a lot of people that I let close enough to get to know me. Just a handful of girls and a handful of guys my whole life. And I try not to be standoffish or cold, but I think sometimes perhaps I do that. But anyway, the two people that I let into my life were Ed, my second husband, and Bill, my third husband. And, you know, combined, I was married to them for almost 38 years. So that's a huge chunk of my life. I did hard time being married to those men. But they're like family to me, and they always will be, because they had something about them that they understood me, and I allowed them to see me. I allowed them to get close to me. I confided in them. They knew my deepest, darkest secrets. They were part of me, and always would be. There's just not a lot of people in my world, in my life, that I ever let in, but I did them. You know, a question that you ask me every single week is, where am I wearing all my clothes? And, you know, I don't think I had that many clothes. And, you know, I always buy my own clothes to model for you, but just lately, the last few months, I have picked up some sponsorships. So they're sending me their clothes, or they're giving me a gift certificate so I can go buy their clothes and model them for you, like Nordstrom's has just taken me on board. So that's kind of exciting. But that isn't what you asked me. You want to know where I'm wearing my clothes. But every Sunday night, I have my very favorite jazz club that I go to. And I always like to wear a brand new outfit on Sunday night. That just makes me so happy. And I do go on dates. I have a very nice gentleman friend that he does take me out on the weekends, and I try to look my best. So there you go. There are more outfits that I have to have. And you know, just in general, I have music friends, and I have studio stops, and you know, I like to look my best. You know, whenever I'm shopping and Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation comes on, whatever I'm looking at, I'm buying it. I think more than ever, women are so beautiful and so strong, and there's no fashion rules. They can wear whatever they want, and I just love that. The next question is from my subscriber Carrie, and she wants to know if Desi sleeps with me. And the answer is yes, he does. You know, when I first got Desi, he was so scared, and he was used to being kind of, you know, locked in a closet. So when he first came here, you know, he kind of slept in a closet. But now, you know, he likes to snuggle with me, and, well, that's just fine with me. You know, the last question I got is, do I read my comments, and do they affect me emotionally? And of course, of course I read them. I look forward to them. I feel like I know so many of your lives. And yes, they do affect me. I think the ones that affect me the most are the ones where you're very open, talking about some loss that you've suffered in your life. You know, when I was a little girl, I used to go to this baseball diamond. And I've showed it in another Q&A video that I did just a few months ago. And it's in this video too. But you see the baseball diamond. And that is a very special place to me because that's where my grandfather would take me to watch baseball games. But sometimes if no baseball game was happening, we would just go and walk. We would walk the field, and my little hand would be in his, and I would ask him a million questions. And no matter what he answered, I would say, "Why? Why, Grandpa? Why?" He had the patience of Job. How old are you?
I'm 20. I'll be 21 in November.
Oh, you're so beautiful.
Thank you.
What do you, at 20 years old, what do you see for the future in your life?
For the future in my life, I see myself finishing school and starting my natural beauty products, hairline, and
When I was at that park, when I was at the park I used to go to with my grandpa, it was just packed full of people, and I had my camera, and so I asked if they let me do a little interview with them, and they obliged, and it was so wonderful. And there was an older man, and he was with two of his dogs, and he looked real sad, and he was kind of sitting under the tree, but he waved to me, and I said, "I like your dogs." And so I went over and I said, "Can I take a picture?" And one thing led to another, and I said, "Well, could I do a little interview? I'm kind of doing a survey on romance and things like that." And he smiled and he said, "Well, sure." And so I asked him the first question, "What makes a woman beautiful to you?" And he started describing his wife of 55 years. And it was so beautiful. And he said the first thing that he noticed about her was the grace in which she entered the room. He said every move she made was graceful and full of kindness. And I had never heard that before. This man is he is from Poland, so his English was not 100%, but I think I understood almost every word. So we were getting more and more into the romance of he and his wife, and he started to tear up. I couldn't figure out why. I thought, well, maybe I've exhausted him, or maybe I've overstepped my bounds, but he told me that after 55 years of marriage, he just lost her a few weeks ago. And so I took a deep breath and I said, "Oh, I am so sorry." And it's as if the dam burst, and he put his head down and he just started to cry. And he touched my hand and he just said, "Don't let the world see my tears. Don't let the world see my tears." So I didn't use any of the footage other than his doggies. But that experience taught me, it taught me something, because I apologized to him I don't know how many times, and he squeezed my hand really tightly and he said, no, don't apologize. This is the best day I've had in weeks, just talking to somebody. So that kind of brings me back, that we all feel sometimes a loss, a loneliness, an emptiness. I mean, it just happens to the best of us. And we want to share, we really do. We want to shout to the world. We want to ask for help. We want to cry on a shoulder. But sometimes it doesn't always work out. And we pull back. And that's okay. That's okay. But sometimes to be aware that maybe one of the most beautiful things we can do is reach out to a stranger and lend a shoulder or a ride to the store. Anything. Because maybe in making their day better, we can make our day better. I mean, I don't have any answers here. But that was such a profound thing that happened to me.
I love your dogs.
Thank you.
When you first meet a woman, what's the first thing you notice about her?
Right down to the eyes, the smile.
Really?
Yep.
The smile?
Yep. From the eyes to the smile, yep.
Do you like the mysterious type or the
Both.
friendly type?
Oh yeah, both. Both. It's gotta be a mix of both.
Is there one thing when you're 75 years old that you could look back and say, yeah, I was a success because? Can you fill in that blank?
I was a success because I accepted Jesus Christ into my life. And yeah, that's why.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I loved every second of it. I so hope you liked some of the answers to the questions, and you know, there were so many questions I didn't get a chance to answer, so maybe, you know, maybe around Thanksgiving we can do part 3. But I'm so glad you were here today. And you know, one question that I got a lot was, does Desi like me to date? I guess what you're meaning is, like, you know, if I invite someone in, does Desi give him the side eye or is he friendly? He gives him the side eye. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful brand new week. And when you're done with your week, you come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right. Love you.
You're so cute. Look what you're doing. What you're doing.